Hi, welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about inputSecret and its attributes. It is usually used for the password field. It renders an HTML input tag of the type secret. Use the ID attribute to provide a unique ID. You can link this inputSecret field with an output label by providing the same ID in the for attribute of the output label. Use the rendered attribute to make the field visible or invisible. When the rendered attribute is true, it is visible. When it is false, it is invisible. Use the required attribute to make the field mandatory. When required is true, the field is mandatory. Use the requiredMessage attribute to provide a message for a required field. Size and max length attributes work the same way as they do in HTML. Use the title attribute to show a tooltip text. We will discuss other attributes of this tag at a later stage. Let's use the ID attribute. Let's see how to do it. Here is our XHTML. Here is the input secret. Put the ID and put the ID as password. Let me put the same ID for the for attribute of the output label. So we are linking the output label to this input secret field using the for attribute by giving the same ID as that of the input secret field. You can see here the password here. The for has the password which is the same as the value of the ID attribute of the input secret. Now let's run this. Let's run this and see. Here it is. Now, how do we know that this label is linked to this field? If you come over here and click, you will see that the cursor comes to that particular field. I'll put the password, right? Now let's use the rendered attribute. Here it is. We will go here and say rendered. And put it as false so that it is invisible. Let me also put the label that is linked to it as false. Rendered is equal to false, so that both are not visible. Now let me run this and see whether they become invisible on the screen. Here it is. So rendered makes the field invisible if the value of rendered is false. By default it is true, so that the field is visible. Now let's use the required attribute. Before that, let's remove this rendered, otherwise it would not be visible. So I'm removing this. here too. Now I'll put the required attribute as true. So let's see what it does when we do this. So I made password field required. I'm not keying in any password. Let me see what it does. Yes, earlier user ID was also mandatory, so let me key in this one and then say, right now you can see that password validation error value is required. Right? The field is password. Let me also give the required message attribute over here. Let's say password is mandatory. Now, when you make it as required and then put this message, it would show the message that is given for the required message attribute. So let's run this. See, let me key in this so that the error for user ID doesn't appear. Click this, now it says password is mandatory. That's what we had here, right? Now let's see as to how size and max length attributes work. Let's start with size first. We have a size of 15 and see how it looks on the screen. So this is the size of 15. Let's go back to our XHTML and change the size to 40. When you run this, you see. Let's try keying in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it accepts more than 40 characters. So size has got nothing to do with the number of characters that you can key in. It is to do with the size of that particular field on the screen. So let's go back to the code again. Let's put this back to 15 and let's put a max length to this. Okay, max length of say 10, right? Let's run this. So it is of the size 15. We have brought it back to 15. Now let's try keying in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1. So it doesn't go ahead. So that means max length says what is the maximum number of characters this particular field can take. Size refers to the size on the screen. Max length refers to the max number of characters that this particular field can take. So we have put 10 as max length. So it is accepting exactly 10 or less than 10, but the size is 15. The size refers to the size on the screen. Now let's see as to how to use the title attribute. Title gives a tooltip text. We'll put this as key in your password. Okay, now let's run this. See, yes, can we see? Key in your password is the tooltip text. So title shows the tooltip text. Let's summarize as to what we did in this video. We came to know that inputSecret tag renders an HTML input tag of the type secret. We used the ID attribute. We used the rendered attribute to make the password field invisible. We used the required and required message attributes to show that a field is required and the message for it if it is not filled while submitting the form. We used the size and max length attributes. We used the title attribute and found that the tooltip text shows the text that is filled for the title attribute. We will discuss other attributes of the inputSecret tag at a later stage. Bye for now.